And who were some of Rip's other bodybuilding idols? Great question, Opinion Haber.
I don't put him over that much.
Oh, that's great.
No, I grew up with Arnold because I remember getting the Weeder magazines. Okay, now I'm a fat little kid. Now in 1967, I see Sergio Oliva on the cover. So when I'm 14 years old, I get my Sears 160-pound weight set. I made a bench press, and then I've never went into a gym till I was like about 20 years old. When I was in college, I went to Hoffmeister's downtown Indianapolis and saw all the pictures of the guys on the wall. But Arnold, oh man, Arnold was the king of everything. I didn't know they was taking steroids and shit like that. But I was training. I had the old 32-inch chest and 36-inch waist when I started, and then by the time I was a senior in high school, I had 18-inch biceps, which for being not that tall, as Dutch would say, and not that big, I had the cannons.
So was Arnold the man? Who else? He said, who are some other like bodybuilders at the time?
Well, like when they had the original, Larry Scott won the first two Mr. Olympias. Dave Draper, the one guy that was so good was Harold Poole. Harold Poole was from Indianapolis. He went to Shortridge High School. He was so good, and what he was mixed, so they wouldn't let him win Mr. America. Wow. So he went off to Weeders, and he was in Mr. Universe when he was 18 years old. But he was the guy that invented the trap shot. He was just so good.
Like the pose?
Yes. But Harold Poole, so the legends were Larry Scott, Harold Poole, and then Sergio Oliva, and then Arnold came along and had his big run.
So I don't know if you're wanting to tell this story or able to tell this story or remember the story, but wasn't there a bodybuilder that like wrote you a note or something like that?
Oh, that was Joe Hubbard from Seymour. Joe Hubbard from Seymour had won Mr. Indiana, and he had also been in the Mr. America contest. And when I was I wasn't a kid, but I was a teenager, and he was Roger Stockelman's uncle. And he lived
Shout out to Roger.
Yeah. So he lived in back of, I lived on Marshall Drive in Seymour, and Harrison Drive, the street in back of us, he lived there. But I seen him at the Seymour High School basketball game, and he was just sitting there. He was just huge. I'd never seen a human being look like that. So I looked, and then we go to Jackson County Fair, and I saw him strutting down the midway. Oh man, I was in hog heaven, and I was scared to talk to him.
What was his name?
Joe Hubbard.
Joe Hubbard.
Yeah, Joe.
Does the king know who that is?
Oh, the king would know him. Yeah.
Okay, so get to the letter or whatever. How'd that come about?
Somebody sent it to me, but he had it on his wall.
Oh, you wrote him a letter.
I wrote him a letter about how I saw him, how he inspired me, blah blah blah, and he kept it to me. And I think Joe's dead now, but somebody sent it to me. It had the pictures of him and how I had that letter that I wrote him. It was on his wall.
All right. See, he inspired. So great question, Opinion Havers. He said, who are some of Rip's other bodybuilding idols? So that would have been a great.
Yeah.
There you go.
That was
Joe
awesome.
Hubbard, Seymour, Indiana, baby.
So I'll put Opinion Haver over. Okay.
Big gold and a billfold, so swole that I can't get the shit closed. So I money fold and rubber band wrap, and when it pop.